Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome to the Christopher Marc Show. Today I have the privilege of introducing you guys to a blooming energy of love and sincerity and caring, and I can go on. Shannah, can you tell everybody your full name and what do you do?
Yes, so I am Shannah White, and I'm a heartfelt intimacy coach. So basically what that means is that I'm a relationship coach that I help people to transform bumps and challenges and sticking points in their relationship into a connection that feels really deep and rich and flows naturally.
So, what inspired you to say, I'm going to help people with relationships? Like, what was that moment that happened for you that was like, okay, this is my thing. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be like referee. You know what I mean? for a living. I'm supposed to be a referee for a living. You know, you go in your corner, you in your corner, and then we work this out. So when did you realize this?
Well, if we're talking about there's layers to answering that question.
Okay.
So the first layer is the specific moment. So I have 29 years of focused spiritual study under my belt. And that doesn't mean that I sit in the corner with the Bible or anything like that. In fact, I mention the Bible, but I'm not well read in the Bible, although I do feel connected with Jesus. But I, for a long time, I guess I'm going to answer all layers at once. For a long time, I wanted to master love, unconditional love in relationships. This was my big dream. When I was 14, I studied A Course in Miracles, and I learned how big and beautiful love could be. That love could be this energy that's bigger than all of us, but that shows us how to be in a peaceful and meaningful connection in everything we do. And then I reached the age of romance and didn't go that way. I was like, how does this even work? Like, I don't know how to do this in for real, right? Like, it's a big idea. I want to save the world, but I can't even save myself. And that was quite a kind of unpleasant thing to look at in the mirror. Like, wow, I really don't know how this works.
Yeah.
So I had a passion for wanting to experience deep, unconditional love. That's one way of saying it, but this deep love that flows and makes sense and never ends. And I wanted to experience that in intimate relationship, but I didn't know how. To try to crack that code, I started to study deeply into practical spiritual psychology. Started November of 1995, and so now we're in 2005. So I'm coming up on 30 years here. In the beginning of 2020 or the end of 2019. I received a little message in meditation that said, you should start coaching people now. And I was like, okay. So following that, I actually felt like I was given permission, because I had finally developed enough skills. I was given permission to show people what I learned about how to be in relationship. So I will say that for the better part of that 29 years of study and practical application, I struggled because, I was wrestling my subconscious. But I did have a crystallizing moment, or a christening moment. I'm not sure what the word is that I want, but this breakthrough turning point where I saw what I was doing wrong all along, how I was overlooking the key to relationship that flows in deep connection easily. And so it gives me great joy to unlock that for other people.
Do you ever like be in the process of helping people, right? I know this has happened to me. Like I'll be in the process of giving out great advice, and I'll be like, I don't understand why didn't this work for me? Did that ever happen to you?
Say that again. I missed that. I
Did
don't
it ever
understand what.
happen to you where like you were in the process of working with someone, right? And you're giving out good advice, and then you think to yourself, how come this advice, I didn't take this advice from myself? Like, how come this didn't work on me around the time when it was, you know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you something. So, I have worked with a mentor. I have a mentor who's now a colleague, for all of these years, right? So I had someone who was giving me supportive advice that I wasn't listening to. I mean, I listened to it. I listened to it when I could, but there were many times that I couldn't, right?
Okay.
So my journey also became a study in not just what's the great advice, but also what's the reason why I can't hear it right now, and what's more important for me to work on right now. So through my experience, I developed the skills and the understanding of how to follow people's organic edge and really meet them where they are and give them exercises that they can feel that move them forward in the next step that makes sense for them. And so even though I have a long a long journey of struggle in my past, I feel like it's perfect because of everything that it taught me. It gave me so many tools that, number one, I now use to have the life that I dreamed of, to have peace and connection in my most important relationships on a regular basis, and the tools to work through challenges really quickly and positively, right? And then I also have like a big bucket of skills that I can help other people with. So I feel like every drop of sweat and tears and blood was worth it and perfect.
I understand. I I totally get it. It's a journey. It's a journey of like you're simultaneously healing yourself while you're healing other people or helping or guiding other people. So it's not an easy thing to jump right into. And you learn a lot. You learn a lot about you and how the process works, like the healing process. So what would you say was the most difficult situation that you have come across that that was difficult for you to kind of like it challenged you a little bit? It made you say, I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board on this one. Was there ever a moment like that?
Well, in my personal journey, you're saying?
Just professional journey, a personal, professional, either one.
Okay.
Yeah.
A moment that said, I have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, one where it was like, this is a little difficult. I'm going to have to like figure out, what do I need to do? I'm going to have to approach this a little differently than what I would normally would. Was there ever a moment like that?
So not a moment that fits that exact template. And the reason why is because in my personal journey, I felt like I was building on a foundation and then like posing experiments, basically. I was in a 10-year on and off relationship, which kind of from some angles makes me look like a fool. But because people are like, why are you still doing this? But on the other hand, I felt like it was a beneficial choice in retrospect because I didn't confuse myself by acting out the same pattern with different people and thinking that it's different.
Yeah.
But my journey with that was the relationship that led me to the breaking point, that led me to the breakthrough. And that would be the most excruciating and formative series of experiences, is why it comes to mind with your question. But through that experience, I did feel like I was building on a foundation, and I was like, well, maybe if I approach the relationship this way, it will work. And then that didn't work. So then I'm like, back to the drawing board. Okay. Maybe but what I was doing was that I knew how to connect to the energy of divine love in my heart at the time that I was in that relationship. But I was trying to figure out, how do I bring this big love into the relationship and experience it with him? And as I tried to do that, I kept well, actually, honestly, that divine love energy kept slipping out of my fingers as I would like knock on his door or be driving to his house. And so that's what I was trying to solve, was how do I integrate this? And go ahead.
No. I'm listening.
Okay. Yeah. How do I integrate this big love into this relationship or romance situation? And I did have to admit that relationship was not suited for the task. But it's not the relationship that was wrong, really. It's that I had a desire. I had desires to connect in ways that contradicted what I was trying to pull off, so to speak. I couldn't actually do relationship the way my subconscious was programmed to do relationship, and at the same time actually integrate divine love with it.
Yeah, that's a tough one, you know, because when you're blending in, when you're with someone and you're trying to, you might have a belief system, right, or a thought process of how you approach relationships, and you're trying to bring those things together. And then this person might have their thought process. There's always going to be some friction.
Okay, that's true. And I was just thinking also that I'd like to get more specific, because speaking into trying not to go down too far down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I mean, you however deep you want to go, it's up to you. If you're like, we're going to pause right here, it's totally fine with me. I'm cool.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? Yes, we have like a lot of the time when people think about spirituality, they think about belief systems, and I completely understand why, because that is like the tool we use to practice spirituality in so many ways. But what I've come to understand spirituality to be, or rather the human experience that I'm trying to point to when I use that word, not very effectively, is the way we feel inside, because our feeling sense is actually our navigation sense for growing into a big, beautiful human being. And that's really what I'm talking about when I'm talking about spirituality. So I was trying to be this big, beautiful human being in this relationship with this gentleman. And at the same time, the wounds in my psyche were saying, I need him to love me so that I can change the story of my own unlovableness, my own unworthiness. In the core of my being, I felt this flat feeling that felt like there's no love there. And what that meant to me was, I'm unlovable. Like deep down, just plain me, if I'm not running to please people, deep down inside, I'm unlovable. And I was so afraid that someone would find that out, and that they would basically like turn away from me and walk away. Like that's what I thought would happen if it was just me. So I was always like compelled to try to do what I thought he wanted me to do so that he would love me. And to be connected with divine love, we have to just be. But our subconscious emotional wounds like that, like our feeling of unworthiness and the things that we think we have to do to feel lovable or be lovable to other people, keep us running away from that place of being where we actually can connect with the energy of divine love. So what happened was I would be like practicing how to connect with the energy of divine love, and then I'd make a plan to get together with him, or I'd think about him or whatever, and my subconscious would be like, okay, now we're doing the pleasing the guy thing. And there was nothing I could do to keep that program from running and taking over.
Yeah.
So this is what so my breaking point, the place where I really did start over, not because I thought I should, but because I finally broke that subconscious program and repaired that problem in my mind, was this moment when I was so, we were no longer together, or no longer on and off. I had finally gotten myself to a point of not getting back involved with him. Like, I had developed my awareness of this relationship's not working. But I felt so forsaken and overlooked in all of my important relationships. And this one day I was just like sitting with that painful feeling and crying so hard that I felt like my stomach was going to come out my throat. I sit in my truck, so I'm hitting my fists against the steering wheel, and my hands are hurting, and I'm just crying. And I'm feeling the pain of feeling overlooked, and I'm just at my wit's end. I'm like, God, I don't talk to God that often, but today I had to. I was like, God, I can't say this word online. No, beep you. I've been working so hard, and you still won't, send me a partner that I can actually have a holy relationship with, a real relationship. And as I just let myself really feel all this pain, I was given a gift, I think, that the divine responded to me by walking me through connecting the dots. And so I started to see that the first thing that happens once I decide, the first date, okay, I'm like, everything's great because I don't care. But then, like, the second date, now I like the guy, right? So then what happens once the second date sets in? I overlook my sacred heart to lean into the relationship. Like if I give myself away to this relationship, he'll do the same, and it will be amazing. Isn't that what intimacy is? When we give ourselves so much into the relationship. But then I saw that then he doesn't reciprocate. This is how my stories had gone at that point. He doesn't reciprocate, and then I'm angry because I feel overlooked. I gave all, he didn't, and now I'm getting the short end of the stick, right? But I realized, and I could feel this actually physically gelling in my mind. I was like, oh, I'm overlooking myself in the first place. And so even if I got the relationship that I wanted on the other side, I'd still feel overlooked because I'm overlooking myself. And then my subconscious was like, oh, you're right, it will never work. Okay, and my subconscious gave it up, like on the dot in that moment.
I understand a lot, because I'm used to being the giver in my relationships. And so I think when you're naturally just that person where you want to be there for someone, you want to nurture them, support them, listen to them, in any way, shape, or form that you can, you don't realize how much is depleting you, right? You don't realize how much you feel like, okay, I'm trying to make this relationship work. Why is it not working? And, I actually did a video about this, yesterday about relationships. And I was talking about how that you do have to focus on you. You have to learn to love you, because it's like, that's the relationships that's missing. Like that's the one relationship that's missing, because it's like when you have two people, they they take the relationship they have with themselves and then they mesh those together. And then they're trying to create a new relationship by being together. And most times with people, where the friction comes in is that they're trying to be in the relationship with a singular mindset. And that's a hard thing to do. So when you're, unless you're at peace with yourself and you're at a place of willing to be vulnerable, it's cool. But if you're not, then it makes it extremely hard. Like, I understand when you said the 10-year relationship, man, let me tell you, it's like you'd be like, okay, this didn't work, I'm gonna try that. Okay, that didn't work, I'm gonna try that. Okay, that didn't work, this didn't work, that didn't work, I'm gonna try that, and that. Okay, none of that worked. Okay, maybe I need to pray. I don't got the answers. So that's what happens. It's like, so I totally get where you're coming from. Totally, 100%.
Yes, right. So I found in all my relationships, all my romantic partnerships, which the ones before were very different than this one, because this one I was really invested in. The others, I felt more push and pull because I liked being in the relationship, but I felt like in order to really join with my partner, I had to change myself to suit my partner. And so I had a hard time figuring out, how do I deal with being true to myself and being open to being with this person as deeply as I can. And I didn't know how to resolve those things. That never changed for me until I shifted, until my subconscious gave up that idea of how to be in a relationship, which freed me up to say, okay, I know that doesn't work, to prioritize the relationship over the interconnection with the divine.
Yeah.
So let me prioritize the interconnection with the divine and listen. In other words, listen to my heart. But people think heart means when I'm emotionally raw, and that's not what I mean, right? I mean, the heart is this inner connection where literally you can feel the energy of the divine, or you can feel right with yourself. You can get messages from your higher self, from your spirit self. And learning how to feel that helped me understand what's right for me in each moment. And the thing is that when you tap into that connection, okay, first I want to say, self-love, a lot of people think that self-love is, let me think good things about myself or believe good things about myself. And doing that has benefits, but is different than connecting with the energy of the divine in the core of your being. So just people know that those two things are different. The reason why that push and pull of self versus relationship versus the other person, and what am I going to be true to when these things are different? The reason that gets resolved when we connect with the divine inside is because the divine is the one mind that we all share. So what I feel like doing authentically from the core of my being is going to dance well with what you feel like doing authentically with the core of your being. Mm-hmm. Which it's actually kind of how we came to be on this podcast together. It was very magical. Just like, I'm feeling you. I'm feeling like dancing.
You know what? And that's the thing. It's like I was talking to a friend of mine about, he was asking me about the layers of like your subconscious. And I explained to him, like, we have a collective consciousness. And it's more so about, like, getting to a place where we are all operating within a similar or on the same frequency, right? And so it's like when you're attracting people, it's not like you're just like, most people feel like, oh man, this just randomly happened. But it's like this was something where an exchange needed to happen.
Mhm.
right? And it's like that exchange was to, whether, we know it or not, or whether it's something that is like, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, you need this. It's not like something that's a conscious thing. It's like on a subconscious level, it's like there will be a moment, there will be something from this that will be an exchange, and it will help you on the path that you're aligned with, right? So that you can, when you come across someone who may need that information or that help, then you'll have it, So, and I just look at it like that. It's like, it's just all a journey, and everybody's on different paths. They have different journeys, but the consciousness allows for us to connect, to either share it or to equip each other on, the duration of that journey.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, yes, I totally vibe with that. Totally 100%.
Question again.
What is the one thing about being a coach and helping people in relationships? What are the one thing that you love the most about it?
So what I love is okay, so first of all, I developed exercises from my own experiences of walking this path, that are feeling fully, that people can connect with feeling fully. And if they can't, I'll choose another exercise, or I'll adapt the exercise so that they can feel it. So what I love is being able to help people move through the steps or stages of finding deeper connection inside themselves and deeper connection with their partner, without having to teach them everything that I've been studying over 29 years. So I'm actually just giving them like the cream of the crop of everything that I have under my belt, through exercises that they can feel to make experiential, incremental shifts that are extremely transformative. I have a client that I'm working with right now who I'm very excited about. I love working with her, and she has shifted from, just as an example, overthinking. She shifted from overthinking, right, to being able to feel her way, to make decisions that are more balanced and integrated with the core of her being, with her, in her relationship.
Wow.
That took me like, well, honestly, it took me like 17 years, but she's making that shift now after working together for 10 weeks and then having a break and then working together again. So she's moving really fast.
Wow.
And it's so exciting to watch her. She also explained she's had a lot of anxiety and overthinking, which is one of my sweet spots of helping people with. She said that her anxiety went from a 20 on a scale of 1 to 10 down to a 2. And now she's finding how to feel, instead of being run by the trauma in her history that's complicated her experience of relationship. Now she's starting to find that sweet spot of authenticity, that she can feel connected to her own energy and feel peaceful and feel like she can be authentic, and say what's really true for her, or do what's really true for her, even though it's different than what her fear was telling her what to do, what she was stuck in before. So she's finding freedom really fast. And because of it, her relationship is starting to blossom. Her partner was acting avoidant. Now he's not. Now he's actually initiating to get together more often. He's feeling more comfortable. He's starting to feel like he can trust her more because he can feel her authenticity instead of, we had noticed that he was, he did it. He saw how the trauma was controlling her, and it reminded him of things that have traumatized him in the past.
Right.
So he was getting a little bit like, ooh, and that's kind of what happens in a relationship, right? Like one person gets, ooh, and the other one goes, ooh, and then we're bouncing off of each other. So she's been able to like disarm the bomb of bouncing off each other by finding that peace inside herself through the exercises that I'm giving her that she can feel. So she doesn't even have to think about spiritual stuff or anything like that. She's just finding these skills of how to connect with herself and then feel her way into flow with him. And what I love so much is how quickly it turns things around. It's really fun.
That's, I think that's the thing about being on the journey with people, is seeing them blossom, right? Like knowing that you've been a part of the planting process, the watering process, like, and then finally seeing them actually, feel complete within themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful thing, and I think that's, you have a gift. You have a gift because it's a lot of times like we go through things in life, like we go through heartaches and breakups and things like that, personally, and we think to ourselves, we're like, okay, why is this not working for me?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, why is my relationship not working out, or why am I doing something wrong? And then you start to realize that you're being prepared for something.
Mm-hmm.
The whole entire time you're being prepared, and you're being prepared and equipped to guide people in a simplistic way, right? It's like if you have an abundance of knowledge, you're not going to be like, okay, well, let me give you all my knowledge.
Right.
You're gonna figure out a way where it's like, okay, how can I simplify this in a way where it's digestible, but it's not necessarily about the information I'm giving you or the way that I'm guiding you. It's more so about the power of surrounding what I'm giving.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's creating the impact, and that's really what you do. It's like, yeah, you have your experiences, but it's like your experiences now, the power behind it, so the energy surrounding what you're giving, that's where the impact is made. And it's like, because even though you might have simplified it, you still create this huge impact because of your experiences. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to, know that it was, your time wasn't wasted. It was,
Oh, yes.
yeah, like I told this to a friend of mine's the other day. I said that, it's not about time, it's about divine time. And that's what really matters, So, so let me ask you this: if you had someone that was going on your journey, they experienced what you experienced, and now they're in the process of, sharing that gift of the experience with other people, what advice would you give them if they were walking your path?
What advice would I give someone who is
trying to become a coach or
coach others in their own gift?
Yeah. Give them.
Well, I think let's see. I would say, number one, trust yourself. Number two, I do recommend working with someone to shorten your journey. However, my own experience of working with coaches that have helped me to clarify how I share myself as a professional in a way that I can connect with the people that I serve, right? I met a lot of coaches that didn't understand the power of authenticity because they hadn't gone that deep themselves yet.
Yeah.
And so it took me a long time to find a coach that actually understands that authenticity is the core of business.
Yeah.
It's the core of serving people. And so if it feels right to find someone to guide your journey, which is my second piece of advice, then make sure that you trust yourself about what feels authentic. It's so hard to tell because a coach will push you out of your comfort zone, and that's good. But they might also have a quality to their awareness that is insensitive to authenticity. And so they might push you out of your comfort zone the wrong way. They might push you into force. And that's not, that's the way that business used to be conducted. But post 2020, that don't fly anymore.
No, it doesn't.
People want real people. They want authentic people. They are done with any kind of deception at all. So there's that, and I had another thought too. I think it is ask people what they want from you as well. Like sometimes when we have a gift and we want to share, we can be very absorbed into how that lands with us, but that's also a relationship. And so we need to, number one, stay true to our authentic self. And just like any relationship, at the same time, feel our partner. And the people that we serve are our partner. So notice who you love to serve, right? Don't try to serve people that you don't love to serve, but serve the people you love to serve and ask them what they want so that you can find that place where your gift can truly connect with where they're at in their journey, because everybody is the hero of their own dream. And so my heart opens big when I hear the person in front of me as the hero of their dream and what is it that they're trying to accomplish. And that's why I don't need to teach everybody everything that I know, because they're not trying to be me, right? And this is true if you have a gift and you're trying to help somebody. Find out what they're trying to do in their life, in their adventure, and how your gift can help them move to the next step in their adventure.
That's it. That is truly it. Yeah, because I think that's the main thing. It's like, how do you get people to, and mainly focus on them. Like a lot of times people, we as, practitioners and being able to provide and heal, we think to ourselves that, okay, well, this is about me. So I'm going to show you everything I can do. I'm going to show you all my gifts, all my talents. I want you to know everything. And it's like, the first step is like, you really, really have to remove yourself. And in a sense that even though like you're helping and healing this person, it's like you have to remove yourself, because sometimes you might think to yourself that, this person needs all these things from you.
Mm-hmm.
And they might just need something simple. And you might be like, that's all you need? Like, when I was going through what you was going through, I needed this, and this. But you just need this? And it's like, yes, because this is their journey. Yeah. And it's all about what's going to give them fulfillment. It's like each person's level of fulfillment is different. I always say that, we are equal in our humanity. We are not equal in our experiences. And so you can't really say to a person, say, oh, you should feel like this. This is how you should feel. And it's like, I'm not going through it. I'm fine, So I appreciate you sharing that. So
Can I add one more thing?
sure.
Because it is important to, this comes back to serving the people you love to serve, because on the one hand, we want to be cognizant that people, everybody's different, and what they want is perfectly right for them to want, even if we're like, what? That's what you want? And at the same time, listen to what gives your heart joy, and find the people that want what you love to help with. So that you're not playing like, this is what we do in relationships. Either we're the controller or the doormat, or we find the sweet spot that's neither one, right? So we don't want to be the controller, be like, you should want this. We also don't want to be the doormat that's like, well, I guess I have to help you even though I don't feel joy about what it is that you want out of this. No, you don't. You don't have to serve everyone. You serve your people.
Yeah.
The people that you love to serve.
Yeah, and it's just all about finding the people that you'll know it. You'll know it because it'll be easy. It'll be easy because it's not a thing of, this is not a thing of you forcing things to happen. It should flow. And,
True. Yes.
But so let me ask you a question. So how can people, they were trying to find you online and connect with you and have you be the referee for their relationship and save them, right? And help heal them and guide them to blossom. How can people find you online?
So I recommend two places. Both of them are on Facebook. So I am, so my profile, Shannah White on Facebook, and I'm going to give you a quick link for it because it's easier than remembering the URL. So the link to get to my Facebook profile, where you can follow me and you can message me and you can watch my videos and whatever you want, is tinyurl.com/divinelovecoach, all one word. And if you would like to join my Facebook group, which is a place where I support people in this approach to relationship, you would type tinyurl.com/divinelovegroup.
Wow. Okay. All right. I figured this would be like a really good interview because it was a journey, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a really cool journey. I think that I admire you for what you do. Like seriously, because it's like you, the fact that you're taking things from the guiding people on their spiritual path in their relationship simultaneously, like it's a lot of work that you're doing. Like, you know what I mean? And that's something that should be acknowledged, just because it's like it's work that most people don't see it as work because it's shadow work, it's light work, it's work where people, they just see the result of it and they think it's like, they think it's a magic trick. Oh man, she's a magician. But but they don't realize that it requires for you to be in a place of contentment, fulfillment, calm, peace, and it requires for you to remove yourself so that you can be of service. Remove your ego, your pride. Like, to do all of those things is not an easy thing because who we are as human beings, or how people define your characters in life, is predicated upon your ego, your pride, and it becomes like, this is who I am. And the fact that you're able to disconnect from that and use higher energy to help guide other people, that's a powerful thing.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to say thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for what you're doing. I totally felt such a sense of joy at reaching out to you and connecting with you as soon as I saw your profile, because I was like, oh, this dude, like, totally spiritual. I could see like the substance in just a few words. I could see how you're expressing things, and I was like, this dude knows some stuff. I can't wait to meet him.
Yeah, I love. You know what I love? I love connecting with people because it's more about. It's more about the journey than anything. And I think people always say like, how come you're not in a rush to get things done or do this or do that? Like you're just really like this. And it's like because I surrender to faith.
Mm.
Right? Like faith is like the word faith is like I have faith, but the question is, have you surrendered to it? Because most times we're fighting it, right? We're fighting like we have faith, but then it's like, yeah, but I got this has to happen, and it's just like, nope, no, you gotta surrender to it. And once you do, everything will fall into alignment.
Yes. I think it's the same thing, like not the controller and not the doormat, but the in-between, right? Where we have faith, but we're not being passive about it. And yet we have faith. We need to be proactive in how that's like the co-creative part with the divine. We need to be proactive, and yet don't white knuckle the steering wheel, right? Because the divine still has to show us the way.
Yeah.
Step by step.
Thank you for joining us on the show. I appreciate you for taking the time.
I appreciate it.
And so we're going to leave all the links below for you to connect with her. And I want you guys to feel free, definitely connect and reach out. And you'll also find her within our community as well. So you guys will connect with Shannah from there as well. Thank you
so much.
I appreciate you for everything you do. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.